everybody, welcome to a new video. This is on Hyper. I will give you, you can actually see my username right there. So if you download Hyper, you can add me. Either way, this is my first live stream of Creepypastas. And my streams keep getting restored for some reason instead of staying. Either way, this is my first episode of this, and this will be until 8, so we have like an hour to be together. Okay, either way, if someone misses this is why I made this video. So, pretty much what we're going to be doing, I have stories on here to read from Slenderman today, and if you can obviously tell that I have a bunch of stuff about Slenderman. So, this is the first story I'll be reading, so you don't have to read this. This is also kind of like a bedtime story kind of thing if you like creepypastas and stuff like I do. So, it followed the real-life Slenderman inspired stabbing and the two 12-year-old girls who carried out the crime to appease the long-limbed monster. The HBO documentary Beware the Slenderman focuses on the attempted murder in Wisconsin. They found two 12-year-old girls stabbing their classmate 19 times. If you haven't heard that story, that'll be actually surprising. I've read it like quite a few times. And it's where these two 12-year-old girls stabbed their best friend 19 times, as it said. Surprisingly not killing the girl, and someone biking nearby found her. Thank God that he did, because otherwise she would have been dead. Either way, he called 911, and actually they share the 911 call in a lot of the videos that they have. You can also watch Beware the Slenderman, but it's just a documentary. It's really not fun to watch. You can actually look up scariest 911 calls and probably find it, or Slenderman in general. It's one of the, biggest stories. If you haven't heard it, I would be surprised. You can look up pretty much anything on YouTube about Slenderman and it'll pop up. But, these two 12-year-old girls kind of blacked out in a way. I think they got possessed or something, I swear, because they blacked out from what happened. They don't know how long they walked. Apparently, they walked about 5 miles just to kill their friend. So anyways, these two 12-year-old girls, pretty much were walking in a forest, and they walked about 5 miles with their friend, and their friend was just kind of going along with what they did, and they were just kind of doing their own thing, pretty much. They didn't tell them, they didn't tell their friend what they were doing, but what had happened was, my screen recording, okay, I kept messing up, I'm sorry. Either way, so what I'm doing is just, again, telling stories. So either way, what happened was, I don't even know where I stopped at. That's a problem. Either way, two girls walking in the forest, all that. Either way, they were walking in the forest with her friend and didn't tell their friend what they were doing. So, pretty much what had happened was they were walking, and they really believed in Slenderman. They thought he was actually real. I mean, you never really know, and there's proof that he is, but I don't really think he is. There's quite a few stories about it, but that's, the main one that was actually, creepy and scary about it. Because they had just killed their friend, sacrificing their friend for him to become proxies. That was the background to it. They wanted to become proxies, which are, his little, I guess kind of, clients in a way, or someone who they hired, stuff like that. Welcome. Either way, these two girls walking in a forest and killed their friend. I should probably actually add this back up here, because it'll more likely explain it. So here, this is what I'm talking about up here if you want to read it. Thank you for joining, by the way. Yeah, these two 12-year-old girls were walking in a forest and really believed in Slenderman and everything, and they wanted to become his proxies. So they had killed their friend, which was another girl that was walking with them, and this biker was biking nearby, and this little girl was calling out for help. And so he passed by her and called 911, which actually, if you watch, as it says in the HBO documentary Beware the Slenderman, it actually talks about the 911 call, and it actually includes it. So if you want to actually hear that, you can watch that. I watched it, actually. I would recommend it, as long as you actually like documentaries. But you could actually get more info from it and everything else. I do recommend you watch it if you like Slenderman and everything, though. And that person left. It's fine. So then another thing that I was going to research on is this. You don't have to read it. I will read it for you. So, stories of the Slenderman commonly feature him stalking, abducting, or traumatizing people, particularly children. The Slenderman has become a pop culture icon, although he is not confined to a single narrative, but appears in many disparate works of fiction, typically composed online. Fiction relating to the Slenderman encompasses many media, including literature, art, and video series such as Marble Hornets, 2009 to 2014, wherein he is known as the Operator. The character has appeared in video games Slender, The 8 Pages, 2012, and its successor, The Slender, The Arrival, 2013, as well as inspiring the Enderman in Minecraft. He has also appeared in 2015 film adaptation of Marble Hornets, where he was portrayed by Doug Jones, and in eponymous 2018 film where he was portrayed by Javier Bonnet. So either way, I don't know about the movies. I've never watched any of them. I did watch a Slenderman movie a little while ago before, and that was really interesting because, like, watching him kill children and none of them survived. It kind of reminded me of Stranger Things in a way, if you watch Stranger Things, because of how he was abducting children and stuff. Kind of reminded me of Vecna. But, like, kind of like everything else that had happened, because, the way that the movie works is none of the kids actually survived, like I had said. Like Barb in Stranger Things, where she was, like, pulled under water, it kind of reminds me of that in a way, because she never got found. No one really cared after a while, though. Welcome. Either way, what happened in the movie was Slenderman had, there was these kids on a field trip, is how it started, and they saw him in the forest. One kid saw him in the forest. And if you look at his face, it's whenever he steals you, kind of, in a way. But if you sacrifice something for him, one of your most prized possessions is whenever he actually will, like, leave you alone, or you become one of his proxies. It's either way. If he's very interested in you, you become his proxy, is how the entire story works. There's also a lullaby. If I can find that, I will sing it. Or I can try to find a video of it, more likely. I don't really want to listen to it. No, never mind. Either way, he has a lot of stories. I mean, it actually freaked my dad out, and I was just like, I actually don't mind it. I've only been on here for like 10 minutes. That's actually surprising. That's like a record. I guess I could try to find more stories. Hang on. So, I looked up his backstory one day, like on YouTube and stuff. And there's this thing that actually involves Granny, which is surprising. So, originally he was married to Granny, and he decided that, which is actually is included as the Granny backstory as well. And so, of course, you know how she looks and everything. Slenderman was married to her. And this is, like, probably fake and everything, but, I mean, I'm going to include it anyways because it's something that I found. Pretty much, the entire story was Slenderman and Granny were married and had a daughter named Slendrina. It was named after him, of course. And they got married, had Slendrina, and then they moved into a house together. So Slenderman acted like he was dead one day. And Granny and her daughter, Slendrina, had came in and saw him dead. Fake dead, of course, but dead. In the kitchen. And so they had grabbed knives and killed themselves. That's how they died. He was still alive. He kept himself alive, but supposedly later he committed suicide. He started walking around and stuff, and he actually died from exhaustion, I'm pretty sure, or committed suicide in the forest. So, oh wait, no, he committed suicide as well. Yeah, this is the story. So he started haunting the forest because he and his daughter used to like visiting the forest. That's the story behind his forest. But apparently, I guess, I don't really know. That part was entirely confusing to me because I haven't watched it since like a year before. But thanks for the likes. Either way, that video was very appealing to me because of, I mean, whatever, but all of that happened and everything in it. A lot of things happened, but I guess also he got remarried to someone else, and that's what created the Spider Girl from Slendrina's story. I mean, there's so many stories connected to it. It's like insane. Yeah. So since you joined before I had talked about the killing spree that two girls went on, not really killing spree, but they had killed their best friend, or at least tried to, committed to it, and because they were interested in becoming his proxy, Slenderman's proxy. And they had to make a sacrifice, of course. So they sacrificed their best friend, or were trying to. And it didn't work. Which is really interesting. There was a documentary about it called Beware the Slenderman. I'm going to see if I can find anything else in these pictures that I have. But here's the pictures that I have of kind of what I saw or have looked at. If you want to read them, or I can read them to you if you want me to. I think I read this one while you were on, the second one, but the first one is, it followed the real-life Slenderman inspiring stabbing and the two 12-year-old girls who carried out the crime to appear the long-limited monster. The HBO documentary Beware the Slenderman focuses on the attempted murder in Wisconsin that found two 12-year-old girls stabbing their classmate 19 times, which is their best friend. And then there was this one, which was the most recent one I read, and it's stories of the Slenderman commonly feature him stalking, abducting, or traumatizing people, particularly children. That's mainly the main thing. Either way, like I was saying earlier, I was watching the movie and stuff. My dad got freaked out by it. I still think that's funny because I'm really interested in it and stuff. But whenever he was watching it, he was like, yeah, like, I was surprised that the kids didn't win, because normally in, like, movies and stuff, kids win. But Slenderman did instead, which was amazing to him for some reason. I was like, I mean, that's normal for Slenderman. I mean, he can take anybody. But the movie starts out with these girls looking at the wiki of it and stuff. And they were doing, I guess, like, looking at pictures of him, and then watched this video or something that was supposed to make him actually come to life. And then they all died later on in the movie. I mean, they all died different deaths, but he took them either way. They were hallucinations, pretty much. One lived, I think, but they got traumatized from it either way. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's an interesting movie. I would recommend it for sure. Do you have a story to tell at all? Maybe how Slenderman has actually been in your life? Or maybe if you've seen any visions of him, anything that has popped up? Since you're here. Actually, I could see if I could find something on Reddit. Oh, here's something that I found off of one of the apps that I have. Full name, Charles Edward Lucius. Allies, this is Slenderman, so Slenderman, the Slenderman, again, the operator, the administrator, the entity, the father, thief of gods, thief of kook, the boogeyman, the candlestick man, the man in the fields, the overseer, the intruder, tupla, there's a lot of different names, and him, the virus, black and white, the unknown, and him, relatives, unknown, occupation, journalist, date of birth, June 10th, 1904. Status, alive. I don't think he is alive, but okay. Powers, teleportation, extra tentacle like appendage. Slenderman's sickness. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's another thing that I'll look up for you. Electrokinesis, electronic kinesis, superhuman strength, blindness, godlike strength, immortality, size shifting, causing insanity, electronic distortion and bucking, video and audio distortion, static, vast supernatural powers, superhuman attributes, atomokinesis, data kinesis. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Either way, species, human, formerly mutated creature, gender, male, height 7'2", weight 154 pounds. I have to go.